Good morning.
Good morning.
So how old are you then, Denise?
I'm 28 now.
20, okay. And who are you caring for?
My mother.
Okay, and how long have you been caring in that role?
As a full-time sort of doing everything and whatever, it's been about 13 years. But before that, we did little bits where my mother was becoming ill. So it's been on and off for about 16 years.
Okay. And what does that role involve then?
From the beginning, it was looking after my siblings, because when my mother gave birth to my youngest sister, that's when everything went drastically downhill and they found out what was the matter with her. So it was cooking, cleaning, taking care of the kids, making sure the two middle kids went to school properly, made sure I went to school, then college, and personal care for my mother.
Okay. So has your caring role up until this point in your life had an impact on your social life?
Definitely. Being a carer, you don't have the same wants as everyone else. Like in school, where they go, "Oh, come to the cinema with us," or "I'm busy tonight." You don't see it as, "Oh my God, I'm going out." You see it as, "Yeah, but if I go out, what if this happens? What if Mum needs something?" And there's never like a common ground. Even though my dad was there, my siblings were there, I was too anxious to leave just in case something happened, and I'd have to take the care and responsibility that one step further then.
Okay. Has it had an impact on your educational achievements or employment opportunities?
Yes.
That you've been offered?
My mother went into a hospital during my GCSEs, and quite a few of my papers had questions that were nothing to do with what was going on with my mother, but I'd answer. I wonder if Mum's okay today. I wonder if the nurses are looking after her properly. I wonder what I've got to do for the kids when I get home from school. And it was on my GCSE papers. I was offered to resit them, but then Mum got exceptionally ill and I didn't have the drive or focus to do it. Everything was concentrated on being a carer.
Okay. So that was when you were in school. What about when you came out of school then, employment opportunities?
Because my mother obviously wasn't able to work, my dad was back in work. I think it was about 4 years after my mother became ill. So then getting the kids to school, getting my brother to comp, getting my mother up and ready every morning and sorting herself out was sort of my primary focus. So even when I was working, I was only having a small sort of 16-hour job that was during the day for like 3 hours sometimes, just to get me out of the house and away from the care and responsibility. I saw work as a break. But it was difficult to sort of maintain the work-home balance, because I'd be getting home from work and I'd just be doing everything and I'd be going to work the following day drained.
Yeah.
It is difficult to be in a carer and working, but if you're anything like most of us, you don't care that you're a carer. You care that the person that you're caring for is the centre of attention. The sort of everything revolves around what they need, not what you need.
Yeah. Okay. So has your role had any impact on your finances then, due to employment, I suppose?
I can't say that the caring role itself has had financial strain, but not being able to go out and get a full-time job at the time, that was a strain. But obviously that's financial then, because I couldn't go out and get a job, so I couldn't get the money to be all happy and free.
Okay. Has your caring role had an impact on your own health and well-being?
In the beginning it did, yeah. In the beginning there was a lot of stress, there was a lot of anxiety, because no one ever told us what was going on. They'd always explained to my dad what was going on, but then everyone was keeping it from us because we were younger. So they didn't see us as carers, they saw us as kids. And it doesn't help that at that age I looked like 9 or 10. So they'd just look straight through me, they'd look through my brother, they'd tell my dad everything. So if we were taking her to doctor's appointments, they weren't telling us nothing. So it was stressing us out, not knowing what's wrong with Mum. So I think at the time I was back and forth the doctors with headaches, or the doctors wanted to medicate me, which would have made me no good as a carer, so I wouldn't allow the medication so that I could make sure that my mother was better.
Okay. And is there anyone to support you in your caring role?
Yes, I have the Young Adult Carers Project, yourself, my brother, my two sisters. I can't say my dad. He used to be there, but he's not anymore. I've got my best friend from the Carers Project. And with the Young Adult Carers, it's brilliant because we're all in the same situation, we're all in the same boat, we all know how the other one is feeling, so if we need any help with anything, we can just ask one of our friends from the project.
Okay. So how did you become involved in the Young Adult Care Service?
When my mother first became ill, the social workers came to the house and they were helping her with like cooking and stuff like that for the kids. And then they realised that myself and my brother needed a little bit of extra support, so they sent us to the Young Carers Project. And then when I was 18, obviously I was too old for that, and there wasn't anything else, so we tried to start up the Young Adult Carers Project, which has now grown into the actual Young Adult Carers Project with you lot, and it's now brilliant.
So how, when you say brilliant, how does that support you?
It's going out, it's socialising, it's doing all the stuff that you would have done as a teenager with all your friends, but you're now doing it with people who are like-minded, who know that even while you're out, you're still thinking, right, when I get home I've got to do this. When I get back, I've got to sort Mum out, I've got to make sure that she's taking her meds and stuff like that. So you're all having a good time, but if one of you stops and goes, I got to go make a phone call, there's no, oh come on, leave your parents alone, same as it is with all your outside friends who don't care. It's always, yeah, go on, I'll cover for you for a minute, you go and do what you got to do, and I'll tell you what happens when you get back. It's always a group effort, and we're all really happy together.
Okay, good. So if you were able to alter one thing about your caring journey, what would it be? What would have made life easier for you?
For my kid for not to have been ill would have been brilliant, but I know we can't alter that. I think having the transitional period from young carers to young adult carers would have been a real asset, because as I said, when I left the Young Carers Project there was nothing. We were trying to start up a new group, but there wasn't anything there at the time, which is why I'm so glad for like my siblings now, when they come from the young carers up to the adult carers or young adult carers, there is a transition period, whereas they won't just get thrown into a pack of oldies in the actual Carers Project. It's really, really nice to know that that's there.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. So where do you see yourself, oh sorry, let me ask this first. Have you had any experience in your caring role with healthcare professionals?
Yes, I've had doctors, nurses, we've had professors, pharmacists, we've even had pharmacy assistants.
Okay, lots then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lots of different people.
And was your experience in general a positive one, or what was your experience?
We've had quite a bad experience with quite a few healthcare professionals. We've had nurses not listening to us, not asking us what Mum needs or what Mum wants. They've looked through us. We've had the pharmacies not allowing us to pick up medication. We've had the pharmacies asking for ID because we're not old enough to pick up a certain medication. It's really hard to be a young adult carer trying to get the stuff for your kid and not having the information relevant. You're just winging it basically. But the nurses not listening, looking through you as if, oh, what do they know? They just look after them. We probably know a lot more in general about our kid than the nursing staff know about any of their patients. But the doctors, they don't listen. They always think that they know best. Yeah, they've had medical training, they've spent years and years in school, but we've spent years and years with the people that we care for. If they are telling us something, we know the score. The doctors haven't got a clue. But the professors, in all fairness, the professor will sit you down. They told us what was going on. They explained to us the risks, the pros, the cons. They were really good. So the higher up the food chain in the medical centre, It was brilliant. They were like the normal ones. They listened to us, they spoke to us, and they knew how we felt.
So they share the information that they had.
As I said, it was higher up the food chain. If they had information that they thought we required, they'd listen and they'd tell us all the information we wanted. If we had any questions, we could just phone up Professor Hatfield and he'd tell us. Whether I was 17 or 7, he probably would have told my little sister.
Okay, so if you were to alter that negative experience you said you've had, what would you alter about it? Would there be one thing that you'd say, well, I just want them as a profession to do this? What would that be? Listen to the carers, because the carers are the ones that know exactly what's going on. The carers are the ones who are with them 24/7. Me and my mother can look at me in a certain way and I know what she wants. I know what she means. The nursing staff need to know that as well as them being there, and yes, they're healthcare professionals and they've done all their schooling and what have you, we do know what we're on about because we've done it for so long. So it'd be good for them to listen to the carers. Okay, last one. Where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? The good thing is, in 5 years' time, I'm hoping to be in a steady job, happily married because I'm getting married next year, and making sure that my life and my care and responsibilities are all in balance. Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how old are you?
I'm 26.
Okay. And who do you care for?
Currently it's just my sister, with sort of my mother on the sidelines, but she's institutionalised at the moment, so my role with her isn't as in-depth as it is with Laura, my sister.
Your sister, okay. And how long have you been caring then for Laura, for your sister?
I've been caring for Laura for about 19 years now, since my mother was first institutionalised. It was just sort of left down to me after that, so yeah, 19 years.
Okay. And what does that role involve then?
Well, luckily these days it's not so much. She's quite self-sufficient, she's able to sort of prepare herself meals and things. But initially I was basically like her mother. She was only, how old was she? She would have been about 5 at the time. I was only 7, so of course the role basically involved everything that a parent would do, getting her up in the mornings, getting her to school, getting her to her appointments. And luckily, like I said, these days though, she's pretty good and I don't really take too much of an active role in her. I just sort of make sure that she gets to places that she needs to be on time.
Okay. So has your caring role, which you've obviously done since being a young child, has that had an impact on your life socially?
Oh, definitely. To be honest, I didn't have any friends at all growing up. I couldn't interact with the world. I suppose it's quite hard for a single parent anyways, but when you're that young you don't really know how to quite balance things out and what have you. So I mean, yeah, I didn't even know how to interact with like the doctors half the time, so it's quite awkward growing up that way.
Okay. So obviously that may have had an impact on your progress and achievement in school?
Yeah, well, I found it very, very difficult to attend school. By the age of 11, obviously I was in comprehensive, but by the time I'd gotten up in the morning, by the time she'd had her breakfast and she'd gotten dressed, and then I'd sort of taken her to wait for the school bus and what have you, there was no time then really for me to get ready, so I was finding it quite difficult to get to school. And it ended up then that I ended up essentially dropping out. Eventually I did get a personal tutor that was assigned to me, but that wasn't until I was about 14. So I missed about 2.5, 3 years of schooling altogether. So I didn't get to do any of my GCSEs in school or anything like that. My tutor luckily was able to sort of progress me on, and I did eventually then go to college. But academically, really, I did suffer with my caring role.
Mm. And subsequently then, with employment opportunities?
Yeah, well, it's taken me quite a while to build up the skills and qualifications needed to even get basic employment, because I missed out on so much back then. And when employers look at your CV and they see that you've got this sort of gap, even though I did have a tutor for some of it, they tend to just kind of write you off immediately. So it can be quite difficult with that.
Okay. Has your caring role had an impact on you financially?
With me, not so much, since as my sister has disabilities and things, the household was pretty much, anything for her was supported by the DLA when she was a child and that. And I mean, she's now looking for employment herself as well, so it didn't really affect me financially, no.
Okay. Has your caring role had an impact on your own health and well-being?
Well, yeah, definitely. The stresses of caring, especially when you're so young, and you try and sort of balance your life between school and friends and, just going out for a walk or getting some time to yourself is virtually impossible. And by the time I was about sort of 15, I was actually pretty depressed. I didn't really think that my life was going to be going anywhere. She was like the centre of my world, so unfortunately it did have quite a lot of negative effects on me, but I've actually gotten over. These days I'm a lot more confident, and I met my friends and things through the Young Carers, which I know you'll be getting to at some point, but yeah.
Okay. And is there anyone to support you at home in your caring role?
At home, personally, no. My father's sort of out of the picture, but like I just said, there was the Young Carers and the Young Adult Carers, and I met my best friend through that. So yeah, it's amazing because I've got like all the Young Adult Carers, and I've got my friends and stuff now, and it's great to have like these people that can sort of relate to what I've gone through, that if I can't make something, if I have to change my appointments or whatever, or my arrangements with them for something related to my sister, then they all understand, and I don't feel like I'm going to be excluded socially from them. I feel like they've always got my back. I've always got someone to talk to if I need to. So.
Okay, good. So how did you initially get referred and become involved with the Young Adult Carers service?
Well, initially I was with the Young Carers, which was when I was about 15, I think, when I first started with that. But then as I sort of reached the age when that would be coming to an end, then the Young Adult Carers was organised initially then, and it was sort of my age group that had sort of helped kind of get that going. So then obviously when that initially started, then I was able to sort of go straight through into it.
Okay. And what support has that provided for you recently then?
It just gives me this comfort knowing that I'm not on my own in this, that if I'm ever so stressed that I don't think I can take it anymore, I've always got people that I can just go and speak to. I can talk to about all my problems, and if I need any help with anything, I know that it's there. And it's also great because like I get to go out places as well, and I get to, if only for a little while, forget about all the stuff that I've got in the house. And I also sort of get to relive a bit of my childhood as well, getting to do all the things that I never had time to when I was a kid.
Okay. So if there was one thing that you would alter about your caring journey, what would it be? What would have made life easier for you?
It would have made life a lot easier for me if my teacher had been a little bit more understanding. I was finding, like I said, that I did end up dropping out of school. That sometimes I'd have to catch the bus to get into school, and I would be significantly late by then. And I was always getting yelled at, and there was detentions, and it would have been nicer if they had sort of understood a little bit, maybe give me a little bit of leeway, because I did get the work done, and I did apply myself to the best of my abilities. It's just that it felt like I was on my own back then. So I think that would be one thing that I would change, if I could. I'd change their attitude towards it.
And people's understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. So have you had any experience in your caring role with healthcare professionals?
Not so many, but a lot of sort of doctors and nurses and things, and even some carers and that involving my mother.
Okay. And has your experience in general been a positive one? No,
really negative. I find that when you've got these appointments, when you're 10 years old and you're bringing your 8-year-old sister to get her ears checked out, because my sister is deaf, they just wonder what this child is doing in the room with you. They pretty much ignore you. You get the impression that they want you out of the way. unfortunately. You're there and you want them to talk to you, because at that point your sister doesn't understand what's going on. So you need all the information that they can give you, because you need to know where to take it from there. Does she need an operation, which eventually she did? When's the next appointment going to be? What I always found was that they were simply going, we'll send your father a letter for the next appointment, or to tell him what's happened, and we'll see you whenever. And it was very, very negative, very sort of demeaning, and I think that they need to involve the carers a lot more. You know, just because you're a child doesn't mean that you don't know what's going on, especially if you're the one that's raising this other person or taking care of this other person.
Okay. So, if there was something that you could alter about healthcare professionals' practice in order to improve your experience in the caring role, what would that be?
I think what would have really helped me at the time is if I'd been asked, if I'd been brought to their attention that I was a young carer, it would have been nice to know that there were sort of assessments and things that could have been done that could have helped support me through this. It would have been fabulous, actually, if they didn't leave me feeling so completely isolated at the time. If they'd been able to identify me at an early age and kind of get me involved in this and get my life on track with it and help support me and my sister that way. Yeah.
So when were you offered a carer's assessment? How had you been caring for a long period before?
It was only my tutor that I had just before, when I was around about 15. It was my tutor that noticed that I seemed to be struggling quite a lot, and that I was having difficulties attending even my tutoring sessions and that. And it was her that initially brought it up and then referred me to social services. And I can't really remember exactly how it went about, because, to be honest, I was passed along quite a lot back then. I went through all these different people and what have you. But eventually then, I think it was one of my social workers, which was about the 5th in about a year, finally identified exactly what I was, a young carer, and then put me on to the young carers, which then of course led on to the young adult carers. That would be my mother. I want you to sit on the Hello, Mum? Mum? Can you call back later? I'm sort of being interviewed. Okay. I love you. Bye. Bye.
It's okay, don't worry.
I'm sorry.
You should check it out.
I did tell her.
Don't worry, it's fine.
She's not very good with memory. Oh yes. My mum's fault.
Right, so start from that question. Okay, so you say you've had experience with healthcare professionals and your experience was generally a negative one. How would you suggest they could alter their practice in order to make your experience in your caring role a better one, and how would they improve your experience?
I think it's important that they identify carers, young carers, earlier on, that they sort of, how can I explain it? You can tell somebody something, obviously, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, especially when they're young, they've got to quite understand it. So they need to sort of be taking these, especially the younger carers, aside and kind of assessing exactly what it is that's going on in their lives and what their role is in this kid for's life. You need to let this person know that they do have things available to them that can help support them if they are in this caring role, you know, especially if they're struggling with it, that there are people out there that can help them, and you know, there are organisations and groups that they can join that will give them that little bit of extra support.
Okay, so you would say making sure assessments are done, and then providing necessary
whatever's necessary,
in order to signpost you to wherever you need to be.
Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Okay, so where do you see yourself in 5 years? What do you think life might be like for you in 5 years' time?
In 5 years' time, I'm hoping that my sister will be pretty much totally able to support herself. We'll be able to sort of move on with her life that way. Obviously, I'm always going to be there for her anyways, but what I want for myself is that I want to just be living with my partner, and I kind of hope to foster as well at some point. That's one of my goals. That's what I'd love to do. You know, especially because like I was fostered when I was a child as well, when my mother's issues and stuff initially first came into play, And I think that I would like to be able to offer sort of the comforting environment that I was given at that age, and give that opportunity to other, you know, children that may even be in that same situation. So yeah, that's where I want to be.
Lovely, thanks very much.
Thank you.